Hi guys, Robin Shea here. It's day 12. This is the evening message, and it's going to be posted a little bit earlier. I'm having a lot of trouble with the internet in the house here. So the morning message took me about 3 hours to upload. So I'm going to try to upload this one a little bit early, and I do apologize for that, but I'm doing the best I can while on vacation in Texas. Today's message is about being a beginner. So we're on day 12. And what I like to think about, or how I like to present this idea to you, is to talk about children's sports. So you have a little kid, a little boy, a little girl. They're really good at kicking the ball. They're really good at catching the ball or throwing the ball. But they're not really good at taking instructions. They're just good at fundamentally, they're pretty good at the sport. So that sets them apart from the very beginning, because they can do something that others may have to spend hours and hours in repetitive motion to get the feel of that particular sport. Now, what typically will happen in a situation like this, when you have a child that is naturally gifted but doesn't do the groundwork because they're good enough to get by and to be one of the best players, versus the child that didn't have the natural talent but spent a tremendous amount of time cultivating the groundwork, then at some point in their career, their sport career, they stunt. This person with the natural ability kind of stunts out because they weren't terribly coachable and they didn't invest the time in their groundwork. And this child reaches the natural ability of the other child, but because their groundwork is in place, they start to exceed the fundamentals. They start to exceed and become a great player of the game. And what it all boils back down to is the groundwork and investing the time in the fundamentals of the sport. So the repetitive time after time after time, like a tennis stroke. You know, I was a pretty decent tennis player, but I didn't have the patience to invest in the groundwork. So I'm probably about as good as I'm going to be unless I go back to the very beginning and really focus on those basics and just that basic ground stroke of tennis. Backhand, serve, 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 over and over and over again. Well, what we're doing right now in the transformation process is no different. You may have experienced a tremendous amount of success being introduced to the 28-day program here. So you may feel like you have it all under control because you're experiencing some success. And at this point, you may want to start abandoning the daily journaling, the vision work, the projected imagery, working through the happiness ladder, putting your suitcase down at night and blessing it, and really going over in your mind the tools that you could have put in place and writing those down in your journal. Think of all of that work as learning the ground stroke of a tennis game. And if you invest now and you spend the time to really understand that these are not idle practices that can be abandoned, this is the game of lifestyle change. Those are the fundamentals of deeply, deeply rooting this process in skills that will carry you through the most difficult times in your life. So I beg you, don't abandon the basic groundwork of Before the Fork and this 28-day experience. Because what we do now and what we do the remainder of these 28 days is what's going to determine, when we rest those 3 days at the end of the program, that we're resting in phase 4 to see what behaviors actually stuck. What you're going to realize is all of this groundwork led up to that. And you're going to see some of the behaviors that are now becoming new and automatic in your life. But if you abandon the groundwork now, then when we rest in phase 4, you're not going to actualize as many opportunities to make new neural connections as you could have if you would have stuck to the fundamentals of the program. So you're going to get tired of me. You're going to get tired of this face. You're going to say, Robin, you've told me this over and over and over again. I'm your coach. That's what I do. We drive home the groundwork. We drive home the repetitiveness. You don't skip any of the practices. It weakens your game. And when we're in the final phase, in phase 4, and you're getting ready to say, okay, how far have I come? What we do right now in phase 2, in phase 3, that's going to determine what game you end up with in phase 4. So please, don't look at any of this as unnecessary. I've spent 15 years cultivating this program, 15 years building out the practices. I've interviewed hundreds of neuroscientists, behavioral scientists, and spiritual leaders. And this system works. I am living proof. I have others on the program, countless others, that have had tremendous success in lifestyle change because they did the groundwork. So please, don't abandon it, and it will carry you through. When you least expect your new behaviors to show up, when you've done the work, they'll show up and they'll carry you when you are weak. So hang in there, guys. It's worth every bit of effort that you're going to put into it. I promise you that. I love you all. I will be back with you tomorrow. Again, working with some sketchy internet here, so hopefully I won't have as difficult of a time as I did this morning loading the video. But regardless, I will be back one way or another. You guys have a great night. Live your best life. Love openly. And be proud of every step that you've taken toward your 28-day experience. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.